Hi everybody, Josiah here, also known as Chilling Silence, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different. You see, I've been away for a couple of days. I went away on a bit of a road trip with my wife for her birthday on Friday. So it's now Monday here in New Zealand, and I wanted to give a bit of a where are things at in the broader crypto space for DigiByte specifically, like overall with the project, how are things going? So I thought we'd start off really quickly. We'll go through all of them. And so to begin with, Android, where are things at? Well, things are actually working pretty damn well for the most part in terms of the core app itself. Sending and receiving works absolutely brilliantly. So that's really great to see. It's stable, it's beautiful, it's a pretty app. A lot of the edge cases that are related to crashes and the likes have been resolved. You can see from the changelog that Noah has really been putting in a ton of work behind the scenes to just polish this off. It's really great to see, so a big thank you to Noah. Now, there are a couple of edge cases related to Digi assets themselves and the sending and receiving of those. This is predominantly related to the fact that the actual core underlying SPV code that the wallet app itself uses does not directly identify the Digi assets. So this is something that is being worked on, which I guess will move us into the next part here. So the core SPV wallet, decoding native Digi assets and the likes, there's additional work going on there which will bring stability. This is happening at the moment. It's breaking new ground though. It's not easy and it is kind of a bit of a slow road there, but I do want to thank Yoshi especially for the work that he's been doing there, so thank you to Yoshi, because this core SPV is what is used by both Android and iOS at the same time. So this one underlying code base, both the Android and iOS apps utilize. So that kind of, I guess, brings us into iOS. iOS does not yet have DigiAsset support, so there is a bunch, like I mentioned, of underlying work going on that will affect both of the other two applications. So Yoshi's been working on that. He's also mostly got the BEC32 support functional. The problem that we ran into was around BEC32, which is the DGB1 formatted addresses. It didn't quite play as nice with the Digi assets, so this is what the native decoding of those Digi assets within the core SPV will hopefully allow for us to do. Standard addresses, which start with a capital D, totally fine though. So that's why Android has kind of proceeded down that path for the time being. But eventually what we want to do is make the BEC32, the lowercase DGB number 1, address format the default. It's more efficient on the blockchain. It's easier because you're not going to run into problems with people accidentally sending it to a Doge address, for example. So just a bit of a heads up there on what's going on. That's most of the mobile side. In terms of DigiByte Core, a bunch of things happening behind the scenes. So what we're doing is we're looking into algorithm swaps, obviously to continue furthering the decentralization and the distribution of the network. In particular, what we're looking at is ProgPow at the moment, specifically for GPU mining. It looks really enticing, and I'm actually hoping to have Christy Lee Minahan on the DigiByte and Friends show to talk with us a little bit about that and why it will be beneficial for us. How they made it, how it works, and the likes. She's got some really cool other interviews up and on YouTube. I would highly encourage anybody curious to go and check them out and give us some feedback about that overall. It'd be great to hear from you. Best way to do that is probably through Telegram and the developers channel. We're also looking at RandomX as the Monero algorithm that they're looking to bring in. Also looks really quite interesting. Don't know enough about it at the moment, but hoping to learn more and just kind of going through those algorithms, the implications obviously there around implementing them, doing it, a whole bunch of other stuff behind the scenes. That's kind of been one of the discussion points along with quantum resistance. So obviously this kind of came to the forefront recently with the announcement that Google and NASA had been working on the what were most of them? I think they were calling it quantum supremacy or something along those lines. Anyway, long story short, it's not a problem at the moment, but it is something that is obviously being accelerated as a result of this news. So what we're looking to do is find out some of these other algorithms that are supposed to be quantum resistant. The NIST has actually been running a competition to decide what the official quantum resistant algorithm will be for them. Anyway, I might actually make that a separate episode and we'll talk about that specifically, and I'll go through and I'll kind of list off some of them and show you some of the details there. DigiByte Go, unfortunately from time to time it's been having some issues, so when we implemented Digi Asset support to DigiByte Go, there's been a few additional kind of problems arising from that. So these server problems have unfortunately meant that from time to time people haven't been able to send and receive those Digi Assets. Long story short, the developers are looking into it. They're trying to identify the underlying cause so they can address this on an ongoing, sort of more permanent basis. But for the time being, there are sporadic issues with it. And wrapping this up with community outreach and education, so a big shout out obviously to the likes of the DigiByte Awareness Team, DigiByte Unlimited, DigiByte Street Team, the community outreach and the likes. It's going great, and I really want to commend them for the work that they do, the time that they give so freely on a regular basis. Thank you so much for all that you do, and it is absolutely fantastic and great to see this spirit and ethos of decentralization and permissionless blockchain really growing in that aspect. Really good to see, so big thank you there. Anyway, so that's where we're at for today. Got a bit more exciting news coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Hit the like, subscribe, feel free to comment in the section below. I'd like to hang out there and respond as much as I can. You can tweet me. I'm at DGB_chilling, or otherwise, I'll talk to you in the next video, and we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.